If you're facing foreclosure in Columbus, Ohio, and you're not sure what to do next, this video is for you. Maybe you fell back on payments, or maybe there was a job loss or a medical situation, divorce, or maybe just life is just piling up. The letters from the bank start stacking up, the phone calls, they feel constant, and maybe it feels like you're running out of options. The good news is you do have options before the foreclosure is completed, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through them. My name is Dave Payerchin with Sell House Ohio, also known as Sell House Columbus. I'm a local cash home buyer, and for over 14 years, I've been helping homeowners in Columbus and all over Ohio sell their house fast as is for a fair price. Real quick before we dive in, I'm not an attorney and I'm not here to give legal advice. You should always talk to an attorney or a housing counselor about your specific legal rights and timelines. What I am sharing here is based on what I've seen helping a lot of other people who are in foreclosure or pre-foreclosure here in Ohio. All right, so now we're going to talk about your options. When you're facing foreclosure or pre-foreclosure in Columbus, Ohio, you generally have a few different paths you can take. Number one is you can try to catch up the loan. Number two is you could work out some kind of loan modification or repayment plan with the lender. Number three is you could list the house for sale with a realtor. And number four is you could sell the house as is for cash to a local buyer like me before the foreclosure is completed. So let's look at each one here. Option number one, the first option is to bring the loan current. That means catching up all of the missed payments plus the late fees and any legal costs that the lender tends to tack on. And this could work if your income has come back and the amount that you're behind is a realistic number for you that you can actually pay off. The challenge is for a lot of people that if they could easily just catch up the back payments, they probably wouldn't be in foreclosure in the first place. So while this can work for some, it's not always the most realistic plan for everybody. Option number two is to see, like a loan modification, is to see if the lender is willing to work with you on some kind of modification or a payment plan, a repayment plan. And this can sometimes help or sometimes work if you want to keep the house and if your income is now in a more stable place again. They might be willing to adjust the loan terms or add the past due amount onto the back of the loan or spread out what you owe over future payments or something like that. The pros are, if it works, you might be able to stay in your home and keep the home. The downside is not everybody gets approved. The process, it could be very slow. And sometimes the new payment is still a stretch. So if the numbers still don't work, you might actually be what they call kicking the can down the road. The third option is to list your property for sale with a real estate agent or a realtor in Columbus. And this can sometimes work well if the house is in very good condition, if you still have equity, and if you've got enough time before the foreclosure date. Time is the killer here. So a well-priced listing can attract a buyer, and if everything lines up, you might be able to sell the house, pay off the loan before the foreclosure is finalized. But there are challenges with this plan. You're dealing with showings, you're dealing with inspections, you're dealing with appraisals, you're possibly dealing with the buyer's lender requiring repairs, and you're also depending on this traditional buyer and their lender to actually close before the foreclosure deadline. So if the foreclosure sale date is coming up fast, a traditional listing may not give you enough time. The fourth option, and the one that a lot of people call me about, is to sell your house as is for cash to a local buyer like me before the foreclosure is completed. This is usually the route most people choose when they're just kind of done with the stress. They want to move on. They don't want to fight with the bank, and they just want a clear path out. Here's what it looks like to work with us, and here's our process. Step number one is you're going to reach out. You could call or text me directly at 614-300-5151, or you can visit us online at sellhousecolumbus.com, and you can send us a message right through the website. So we'll have a quick conversation about the property and kind of where things stand with the lender and what you're hoping to accomplish. There's never any pressure. There is zero obligation just to talk through these options. Next is we will actually take a look at the property. Sometimes that means I'll come out personally. Other times you can actually just send in photos or send in a video, or we can send someone from our team to take the pictures for you. We're not judging you. We're looking at the condition of the house, the neighborhood, and what it might take to get the house back into shape. We're not looking at your stuff or anything like that. Next is we're going to run the numbers and make you a cash offer, and we'll look at what the house could be worth if it were all fixed up and what it might cost to repair, as well as our costs and risks as investors. And then we'll show you what we could realistically pay for the property in its current condition for cash. There's no magic, there's no guessing. We're not pulling numbers out of thin air. It is fully transparent. We're going to show you exactly how we come up with our offer. And if the numbers work for you, great. If not, that's okay too. You're never under any pressure to say yes or anything like that. So next is we'll sign a very simple agreement. If we both decide we're a good fit for each other, we'll send you a very straightforward agreement, usually through DocuSign, a document signing platform, to your email. There's no tricky legal language. There's no fine print. There's no surprises or anything like that. It is very simple. And then next, we'll close the transaction through a licensed title company here in Ohio. So the title company is here to make sure the mortgage gets paid off in full, all before the foreclosure date, and they handle the paperwork, and most importantly, they make sure you get your money at closing. So in many cases, this is going to stop the foreclosure and prevent the house from going to auction, and that's typically the best path to go. So let me answer a few questions that we typically get here in this situation. So will the foreclosure hurt or help your situation? In many cases, selling the property before the foreclosure is completed is going to help avoid and better your situation rather than having a full-blown foreclosure on your record. So every situation is a little bit different. And again, you should talk to a legal professional about your rights. But for many people, selling before the auction is a much cleaner outcome than just letting the house go to foreclosure and just let the foreclosure run its course. Next, we get asked, do I need to fix anything? The short answer is no, absolutely not. We buy houses in their as-is condition. You don't need to do repairs. You don't need to clean. You don't need to haul anything off or anything like that. You can leave the property exactly as it sits, and we'll take it from there. We also get asked, are you going to lowball me simply because I'm in foreclosure? I can understand your concern here because you do have things going on, but I promise you, we are always going to be fair. We're always going to be transparent with how we're coming up with our numbers, and we're going to walk you through the numbers so you can see the math for yourself. If it doesn't make sense for you, then you should not take the offer. There is no pressure, and there never will be. Another question we get is, how fast can you guys close? Well, every situation is a little bit different, but in many cases, we could close in as little as a couple weeks, sometimes faster, depending on the title work, depending on your foreclosure timeline. If you need a little more time, we could be flexible on that as well. The whole point here is just to make everything easier for you and not harder. So real quick, I'll share an example here. I worked with a homeowner here in Ohio who had fallen behind on their payments, and they were getting foreclosure notices sent to them. People were coming, knocking on the door, process servers. They were just tired of the stress. So they didn't want to list the house, and they didn't have any money to fix it up or catch up the back payments. They just wanted to move on. We were able to buy the house for cash in its as-is condition. We closed right there through a licensed title company. The mortgage got fully paid off, and they were able to avoid a foreclosure sale, and they were able to get a fresh start. So that's the kind of outcome that we try to create when we work with people who are in foreclosure. So if you're in foreclosure or pre-foreclosure here in Columbus, Ohio, or anywhere in Ohio, and you just want to know what your options are, I'd be happy to talk to you. You can call or text me directly at 614-300-5151 or visit us online, sellhousecolumbus.com. You can fill out a form right there on the site. And we'll look at your situation together. We'll walk through your options. If it makes sense, I can make you a fair cash offer on the house. There is no pressure. There is no obligation whatsoever. Just a real conversation with a local cash home buyer who's been doing this for over 14 years. Once again, my name is Dave Payerchin with Sell House Ohio and Sell House Columbus. If you're facing foreclosure and you're ready to talk about your options, reach out. I'm here to help. And I will look forward to talking to you soon.